All right, welcome. This is a spoiler alert. A spoiler alert. If you do not want to see what this looks like or haven't unlocked it in Frosthaven, shut it off now. You're not going to hurt my feelings. You've been warned. Well, welcome, my lords and ladies, to another episode of Nerd Nights, the Frosthaven series. We are going to be painting the Kelp hidden monster. First off, I want to say thank you to all my YouTube members, everyone who supports the channel. I can't thank you enough for a super easy model. Not a lot of crazy. Without further ado, let's go. All right, the first thing you're going to do is spray your entire miniature in Mechanicus Standard Gray. As you can see, I've destroyed this holder. That's what it's there for. Next, we're going to be starting off with an airbrush. Now, you don't need an airbrush. It is just something that I did to make it easier. It necessarily doesn't make it model look better because we're going to do several different layers or 3 different layers of pinks. But we're going to start off with a Screamer Pink. You don't need to do this. You can just do a Screamer Pink and then dry brush these other ones on if you don't have an airbrush. Next, we're going to take some Pink Horror and we're going to spray this at a 45-degree angle around the entire miniature. So before we sprayed the entire miniature with the Screamer Pink, now we're using the Pink Horror at a 45-degree angle. So we want to leave all those underbelly portions that darker pink on the Screamer Pink. And finally, from getting that above perspective, we're just going to do a straight top-down pink of Emperor's Children. Pretty simple. This gives it that variation of pink from dark to mid to light. And that's going to create our gradient and look good. Now, if you're looking at the card art, if you have unlocked this, or if you're just trying to spoil the crap out of the game, and you just don't care, you're going to notice there's a bunch of barnacles and algae and stuff growing on this claw-like creature. We are picking and choosing where we're going to put all these different colors. We're going to be using several different colors to include some contrast colors, but I'm just picking and choosing. Again, there's no right or wrong way to do this. Whatever you feel like putting a different color on, put it, because there's really no right or reason on how to do this, and we're going to blend this all together at the end. It's not going to look crazy good, but it's going to look good enough to get on the table and your friends can be like, oh my gosh, it looks so cool. Next, we're just picking out some other stuff. Like there's some barnacles, there's everything on here. So we're going to pick some other items and just start putting greens and pinks and browns. And again, there's no right or wrong reason. You can do as many as you want. You can do as little as you want. You can do straight brown if you wanted. You could do all green. But this is how I envisioned it in my brain and how I interpreted the card art onto the miniature. Now this pink is a sudden pink. It is obviously going to blend in with our miniature, and it's going to be dark, and it's going to be not exactly crazy to see, but I felt like it'd be good to look at, and you can put this in the crevices of the miniature as well if you want. But just kind of give it that bright, or I said, sorry, dark pink color, or purplish. It's like a purple pink, and just kind of creating that variant. Finally, we're just going to take some Warp Lightning and spread it around certain areas on the miniature. This is kind of like an algae looking color that I envisioned. And again, it's going to blend in real well once you put the Carroburg Crimson on here in a second. Next, we're going to do the entire miniature in Carroburg Crimson. And this is going to blend all of your colors together. So if you thought it stuck out a little bit too much, don't worry, you're going to dull them down pretty hard right here. And it's going to make them blend in real well, like it just came out of the ocean, the crustacean of the sea that has come out to slay the demons of Frosthaven. We're not going to do a whole lot with the highlights on the top part, but what we are going to do is work on the stuff that's underneath it. Now, I don't know what the artist was envisioning when he put this giant barnacle or whatever it is underneath it. So I just picked some random colors because I didn't know what it was. And I picked some orange just to kind of give it a offset color here. Now while that orange is drying, we're going to take some pink horror and we are going to start highlighting up our areas. So we want to go over the raised areas on the miniature. Again, we're not going to go crazy on it. So we want to focus on claws, raised areas in the front with the little arms, a little bit on the face, top areas. Again, don't go overboard with it, but it does add a little bit of an effect to give it that nice color variation. Like if you're doing a face and you're using Cadian flesh tone and you're all the way down to Keslev flesh, you could see the tones of skin as if the shadows are hitting it in certain areas and some are not. So it does make it look a little bit better. So take your time on it, but don't go overboard with it. Now you probably noticed, or maybe you didn't, those little beady eyes in our Kelp monster. And we are going to put some of that Black Legion, or if you just have straight black, you can put them in there. I think there's 4, maybe 5 eyes you can put them in there. Just pick them out. Your orange should be dry by now. So we're going to mix, or should be close to being dry. And if it's a little wet, that's probably still the best time to put this in there. A little bit of that green in there to mix it in there. So it's kind of like an oceanic orange coral mixed with some green kelp type thing. Again, I don't know what they were trying to think when they thought about this because it's not on the card art. Obviously the card art shows that this miniature is on a beach. And we're going to try and facilitate that the best we can here in a second, but I had to envision what in the crap are they thinking when they put this giant thing there. Maybe they needed support. I don't know. That's what my best guess is. Next, we're going to put some white down around that green. This is going to be the base of our ocean that's going to be coming in, kind of like a surf that's coming in. Again, this monster is cruising through the dungeons. Not necessarily going to be on the beach at all times, but I felt like I wanted to match the card art somewhat, so the white mixed in with the blues that we're about to have, make it that ocean look, kind of just made it stand out to me. For that giant rock in the front, we're going to use some Aggaros Dunes. Now the pink is going to serve as your undertone, so don't worry, you won't see it, but it does make it look like a dull rock. For the first blue we're using, the Briar Queen Chill is what we're using, right? Yep. We are going to use that around the green areas. This is going to be like your surf that's hitting the white, hitting the edge of the ocean onto dry land. Next, with the water, we're going to use some of that Pylar Glacier on the other parts of white. Now, you're going to notice that this kind of, the white sticks out, and that's kind of what you want, because you want it to look like white caps, or the ocean's breaking and the white comes out from the ocean. So if you want to go a little bit harder into it, you could let it dry and put another one on, but I kind of like the white that sticks out. It really doesn't make it look like water. And coming down to it, your favorite part of painting this miniature, because it means we're done. We're doing the rim of the base, and we're doing Mechanicus standard gray. I typically do it in black, but I decided to do gray because that makes more of a dungeon-y feel, I guess. I don't know, whatever. Just switched it up real quick. Well, that is it. Again, not very hard. You could get super in-depth with this miniature. I don't think the quality of the miniature is there to get super in-depth. You could if you want, but that's my one gripe about Frosthaven. It's not the game, it's the miniatures. They just could have done a lot better. More of a Descent type of miniature, in my opinion. But that's a small gripe for such a good game. Well, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Leave a comment if you have any questions. You can always get a hold of me in the comment section or hit me up on Instagram at nerd.nights. Thank you for everybody who donates. Thank you for everybody who supports this channel. I can't thank you enough. We do this for fun because YouTube doesn't pay us barely anything. All right, love you. See you in the next one. Paint on.